Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. We open at a satanic ritual involving white-robed cultists and a scattering of little demons. The leader Malcolm Graves is about to sacrifice his own son, but his wife intervenes because I guess they didn't discuss this beforehand. Anastasia places an amulet around the boy's neck that gives Malcolm a little zap whenever the green-eyed freak goes near him. A cult member named Wolfgang is ordered to take the rendered useless baby away while Mal chooses to sacrifice Anastasia instead. Demonic rodents pin her hands while a chestburster is summoned from the gates of hell, which seems to disgust this little guy. Whatever this ceremony was supposed to do must have failed, because 25 years later Malcolm is buried in the backyard. His orphan son Jonathan is now all grown up and returns to the derelict estate with his girlfriend after inheriting it. He checks out the grave of his father, which is conveniently obscured so that even the audience doesn't know that it's Malcolm's. Rebecca meets Wolfgang for the first time despite John saying that he's the only family he's ever had and these two are supposed to be in a serious relationship. Wolfgang is now this place's caretaker, though he doesn't do a very good job and didn't even bother to hide the satanic books. There's a lot of real-life references, like the Grimoire of Abramelin, which is an actual book about how to invoke your guardian angel. It involves 6 months of solitary confinement, so I think Abe just went a little crazy while Jonathan discovers a basement full of occult paraphernalia. His father's ceremonial robes and journal are still just lying out, so Wolfgang clearly hasn't been doing anything he should have. John gets obsessed with reading about his father's rituals while Rebecca decides to throw a party for all of their 30-year-old college friends. There's Mark, who goes by the name Toad Boy for some reason, while it's Dick, who has the IQ level of an actual amphibian. There's also his main squeeze Robin and a more reserved girl named Donna, who says that she went out with Mark last night until he went all Toad Boy on her. The final two are Mike, who injures his head while breakdancing, and his buddy Eddie, who says that at least it wasn't something important. They all sit around trying to think of what they can do, so Jonathan recruits his friends to play a little game of Summon the Demon. He brings them all down to the basement, where he instinctively draws a circle around the group to perform a ritual from the diary. A demon is supposed to appear inside a chalk-in circle once Jonathan recites a conjuring spell, but nothing happens. Robin lets out a scream to troll the others, then walks off, so when the group get bored of the failed summoning they all join her. They hang out by Malcolm's grave for whatever reason, while down in the basement a small demon materializes inside the in-circle. It's felt by Wolfgang in his bed, while Mike and Eddie have a run-in with a creepy doll that's had another demon spawn inside it. The boys witness it move to the closet but don't seem to think it's alarming and just continue snooping around the property. In the morning, Johnny tells Becky of his decision to quit work and become a full-time Satanist because the book told him it's a better career choice. Rebecca doesn't think it's a good idea, obviously, but Jonathan turns the fireplace into a smithing station, which will surely change her mind. He forges her an amulet of protection because the writers must have forgotten that he already had one from Anastasia, as they never mention it again. When Becca leaves for work, John repairs the whole mansion in a single day, which once again begs the question, what the hell was Wolfgang doing? He's eventually drawn to Satanism and gets dressed up in his father's robes to perform another conjuring spell. This time, while outside by the fountain, his eyes flicker green and he successfully brings forth several small demons of various appearances. They're named things like Vipar, Procel and Astaroth, which are all taken from the real-life grimoire of King Solomon. John proclaims himself their new master and says they can go anywhere on the estate but must hide their existence from the public. As he grows into his new abilities, John fully restores the basement and summons a storm to the applause of demons, though I'm not sure why. He then tells them to hide until he calls on them when Rebecca gets home to one of those "it's not what it looks like" situations. John says that she won't hear any more out of him about the occult, and they make up, as I guess demon summoning isn't a red flag for this girl. She should have got the hint, because John's drawn an occult symbol under the bed and their horizontal hustle's just another one of his experiments. He starts chanting in Latin, which is a massive turn-off for the uninitiated, so Beck says she's over this crap and goes to stay with a friend. This gives John time to summon two minions from hell called Grizzel and Greedigut, which is a reference to the self-proclaimed witch hunter Matthew Hopkins. The two claim to be servants of his father's despite being a no-show in the beginning, and are told to drink from a goblet to show their loyalty. There's a lot of drinking involved in these spells, and John's eyes are now permanently green like his father's, so he wears sunglasses. Oompa and Loompa say that in order for Jonathan to gain ultimate power, he must perform another ritual involving 6 sacrifices. Grizzel wants to tell him that it will resurrect his father, but Greedigut makes him withhold that key detail, as these demons ain't loyal. The next night, Rebecca returns and begs Jonathan to leave the house, but he refuses and reveals the glowing green eyes. Becca attempts to flee, however the Chaos Dwarfs hypnotize the girlfriend into staying by Jonathan's side. On the next full moon, Jonathan gathers his 6 expendable friends for a dinner party, as he needs to get those sacrifices from somewhere. He makes them wear dorky-looking sunglasses, and even with windshield wipers they're unable to notice the ghoulies crawling all over the table. Like all of these rituals, they're made to drink from a glass, causing them to stand motionless under a spell for the next few minutes. The room is cleared and Rebecca unwittingly hands out the cultist robes that the friends wrap themselves up in. They sit on the floor and all begin chanting Latin phrases, causing John's father to begin literally stirring in his grave. Everyone screams as loud as they can, causing the zombie Malcolm to resurrect and join in with a wail of his own. His skin regrows somewhat while Jonathan's friends are broken from their trance and have no recollection of what happened, so still agree to spend the night. It takes placing the talisman around her neck to snap Rebecca out of it, but she immediately passes out, so Jonathan places her in bed. Meanwhile, the true master of the house regains control over the Ghoulies and orders them to kill the friends, which was always intended. They start by targeting Donna and Mark, who are out wandering around the grounds, and decide to take a rest by the fountain. When Mark goes in to retrieve Donna's dropped bracelet, they're attacked and killed by the Ghoulies in the background of Mike and Eddie's stoner sesh. Inside the house, our resident Dick has just finished laying his namesake down on Robin, so goes to get a rejuvenating glass of juice. She's left alone with the inhabited doll, who was watching them from a chair in the corner when suddenly Ghoulies emerge from beneath the bed. Attempting to flee, Robin's cornered by the doll that apparently left just to re-enter and prevents her escape with a classic strangulation. It then begins to cry tears of mucus as the Ghoulie inside tears its way out and rips Robin's throat out with a lazy backhand. Downstairs, Malcolm enters all dramatic-like and takes the appearance of a beautiful woman at the arrival of Dick. 2 women in one day must be his lucky night, and Dick begins sucking face with a zombie sorcerer that must taste like roadkill. Mrs. Malcolm then uses her elongated tongue to strangle the manchild to death, while Dick's final moment is spent realizing he just kissed a dude. Elsewhere, Mike's now alone for whatever reason, so Grizzel distracts him while Greedigut knocks him out with a bat from behind. They drag him outside as to not get blood all over the carpet and use one of the captured rat demons as a weapon. Grizzel protests as he doesn't want to serve Malcolm anymore, but Greedy reminds him that their lives are forfeited if they don't. Presumably killing Mike, the pair then don his disguise so that when Eddie approaches thinking it's his friend, they spin around just 2 midgets in a trench coat. Grizzel throws the Ghoulie at his face, and with the last of the friends dead, Malcolm resurrects them all for some reason. They slither down to the basement like snakes while Rebecca wakes to see Jonathan meditating, so she isn't sticking around. She tries to flee but is blocked by Robin's caterpillar corpse going down the stairs when her medallion suddenly begins to burn. Throwing the protection away, she's immediately set upon by the Ghoulies, and before Jonathan can reach her, she takes a tumble down the stairs. She breaks her neck or something, so a devastated John brings her to the basement in an attempt to bring her back to life. He discovers his dead friends all perched up ready to continue Malcolm's ritual as Dad enters, probably not looking for a hug from his son. The treacherous minions are by his side as Malcolm intends to sacrifice John to Satan like he did all those years ago. His power is still much greater than his son, so he raises Rebecca from the dead, but she's just there for a lifeless distraction. Fortunately, the Munchkins warn him about the trap, so John throws her to a side while Malcolm threatens to throw the tiny traitors into a fire. He then continues his efforts to steal his son's power by straight up sucking the life from his body with a little lip-on-lip action. Just then a spear skewers Malcolm in the back as Wolfgang arrives to save the day and is revealed to be a powerful sorcerer, go figure. At least Rebecca's resurrection was legit, because Jonathan gets his girlfriend back and they watch as the 2 wizards battle it out. The house begins to crumble in one of the most awkward fight scenes that involves 2 men holding each other's throats for the entire duration. Electricity fires back and forth from their eyes and Wolfgang eventually defeats Malcolm despite them both disappearing at the same time. Somehow all of the friends come back to life and their wounds disappear, so it's safe to say that this is the good ending. All the unharmed sacrifices flee the house and drive away while completely abandoning the helpful little people for some reason. As they drive down the road, Jonathan assures his friends that it's over, but the Ghoulies appear in the back seat. And the movie ends.